What's going on, guys? Welcome back to today's second stimulus check update and stimulus package news. Now, today is Tuesday, September 1st, so happy September, but hopefully you're having an incredible week. Today, I want to talk about, obviously, the second stimulus check. There is some news there. I also want to give you updates on a larger stimulus package. Some of you may have already heard about this, but I want to address that and get some details out of the way. Also, to all of you that collect Social Security, I have some very good news going forward that you will want to hear, and this has to do with larger Social Security benefits. So make sure you stick around for that. And lastly, I will address the food shortage. Many people don't realize this is happening, but I want to address what is going on and what you can do about it. Now, I know a lot of people are waiting for a second stimulus check. As of today, I don't have an answer as to when it will actually get passed and when you could receive a stimulus check. But all I ask is, if you like these stimulus check updates, do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you know any friends, family members, work colleagues that are, maybe know somebody or do get Social Security, do me a favor and share this video with your friends and family over on social media, because they too can benefit from all this information. So if you're ready, let's begin and let's start addressing the second stimulus check. So here we go. Now, let me give you a second stimulus check update for today, because I know a lot of people want that. But first, in order to understand what is going on with the second stimulus check, you need to understand what is going on, around the stimulus check. So let me give you some additional context so you understand a little bit better. So currently there are multiple reports stating that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is currently preparing another stimulus package proposal. And some of these reports are indicating that this stimulus proposal that Mitch McConnell is going to propose or unveil in the coming week is actually for only $500 billion. Now, this is just a couple reports, but in these reports, they're saying that Mitch McConnell is going to amend the $500 billion proposal that he did about a week ago. So that's that. However, there are multiple reports, other reports, that are indicating that this new stimulus package proposal will actually be worth the $1.3 trillion number. Now, the way things look right now, if Republicans propose a $500 billion stimulus package, that would be the equivalent of a slap in the face to Democrats. So I don't think they're going to do this again. They've already done it. It was a slap in the face. Nancy Pelosi said that's not going to happen, and I don't think Republicans are going to do it again. It would be foolish for Republicans to go and issue another $500 billion package that still doesn't address all the needs and will not get the votes of the Democrats. Nancy Pelosi has already stated that the $1.3 trillion stimulus that Mark Meadows talked about and said President Trump is ready and willing to sign, she already said it is not enough to meet the needs of the American people, and that the $500 billion stimulus package is not even close. But Mitch McConnell has said that roughly 15 to 20 Senate Republicans would not support the HEALS Act, which was $1 trillion. So the media, myself included, we have to read between the lines and figure out what Mark Meadows, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, President Trump, and everybody is trying to say and trying to actually get at. So that's what I did. Mark Meadows said over the weekend that President Trump is ready and willing to sign a $1.3 trillion stimulus package. But why would Mark Meadows say this when he knows that Republicans are working on a $500 billion amendment? Why would he do this? And so looking at it and trying to figure this out, my guess is Mark Meadows knows what Mitch McConnell is doing. I doubt they're trying to do things separately. So my guess is that yes, Mark Meadows was just stating that the next proposal, the next stimulus package that Mitch McConnell is going to put out is going to be roughly $1.3 trillion. So that's what I'm going to go with. Now, Steven Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, stated yesterday, yesterday, that this stimulus proposal will probably be coming out or be unveiled sometime next week. So we will just have to wait and see. My guess is what's going to happen is it was going to be unveiled next week because that's when the Senate is back in session. They'll come back to Capitol Hill on September 8th. So that's probably when this package will be unveiled. Will it be voted on? We don't know. My guess is it will, but again, we don't know as of right now. But currently, like I said, the Senate is not in session. They're not in session until September 8th, and the House is away until September 14th. So as of right now, there will not be any voting going on regarding a stimulus package anytime this week, and chances are there won't be voting by the Senate and the House on any stimulus package next week either. So we'll just have to wait and see what will continue in the stimulus negotiation talks between Mark Meadows and Nancy Pelosi. However, most people believe there is going to be some backroom talks and feeler calls between the two. Throughout these talks, many people predict that a $1.3 trillion stimulus package would include the following. It would include a second stimulus check that includes $1,200 for filers and their spouse and $500 for all dependents. Also, enhanced unemployment will most likely be about the $400 range, be anywhere from $400 to $600 is what is most likely going to happen. Also, school funding, we know $105 billion for school funding, liability protections for businesses, hospitals, and things like that. USPS funding is going to be $10 billion. However, Democrats are most likely going to try to counter this, get it closer to $25 billion, and there's also probably going to be food and nutritional assistance. That is what is most likely going to be in a $1.3 trillion stimulus package. Okay, so Steven Mnuchin said yesterday that President Trump wants to get another round of stimulus passed to the American people soon. No more waiting when the people have waited long enough. I agree with that statement. People have been waiting way too long. Mnuchin also reiterated that Congress could always come back for more stimulus in the event that what is passed is not enough. But Nancy Pelosi does not want to do this. She doesn't want to take this approach and demands that everything gets passed right now. Essentially, this is what Congress already did. They already passed a stimulus package. This is technically the 5th stimulus package if they pass this. They've already done 4, right? So what you need to understand is the 4 previous stimulus package, only the first one included stimulus checks. All the other ones were just additional stimulus to go out to, let's say, more funding for the PPP program or additional funding for other things. So what Steven Mnuchin is saying is exactly true and is exactly what Congress has already done. So I don't understand what Nancy Pelosi's holdup is, and either do many other people. But this is one of the areas that Congress does not see eye to eye on. Republicans want to see the economy return to normal very quickly, but don't want to increase the budget deficit if it could possibly wait and see how the economy reacts to a new stimulus and a possible vaccine. President Trump has stated we're really close to a vaccine. Whether it's true or not, we don't know. He could just be trying to boost his voting numbers, but again, we just don't know. And Democrats, on the other hand, they want an entire stimulus package, well, according to Nancy Pelosi, and they want this passed now because they don't trust that Republicans would come back to the table for any additional amount of stimulus, whether it's $1 trillion or $1.3 trillion or $500 billion. If it's passed now, Democrats do not feel comfortable coming back to the table and negotiating in good faith with Republicans. So we'll see what will actually transpire there. But as of right now, again, we just have to wait and see. Now also, on the wait and see, if you remember, Republicans, okay, they had the wait and see approach. And they used this back in April. They used this back in May. They used this in June. They wanted to see the June jobs report numbers. They wanted to see this in July. I bet you remember this. If you remember, this wait and see approach, it failed miserably. And Democrats don't want a reenactment of this anytime soon. Now, here is some good news. Some really good news to people on Social Security. There are larger Social Security benefits most likely coming. You probably already know this, but I want to address this because some people are wondering, what about us on Social Security? I have many family members on Social Security, so I want to address this. I looked into it for them. I'm going to give you the exact information that I told them as well. Now, if you're currently collecting Social Security benefits, then here's the good news. Now, being that the cost of living has increased, medicine is more expensive, food is more expensive, rent in many cases is more expensive, just living overall is more expensive. So, many media outlets are predicting that due to the cost of living increase, that the SSA, Social Security Administration, will be forced to increase your Social Security benefits by roughly 1.2% starting in January. So the SSA is required by law to prevent inflation from eroding Social Security benefits, and to do this, they implement something called COLA. That's cost of living adjustment. Now, this means that due to the rising cost of living, there will be some type of increase, and most media outlets are predicting a 1.2% increase. So, just to put this into perspective, because 1.2% is not a lot, okay? But to put this into perspective, the average recipient for Social Security gets $1,514 per month. So an increase of 1.2% would actually take that $1,514 per month benefit. It would take that up to $1,532. That is an increase of $18 per month. Now, I understand this is not a lot of money. This does not really, go along with inflation. It doesn't. The cost of milk went up more than 1.2%. The cost of some medicines went up more than 1.2%. So the cost of gas has gone up more than 1.2%. So what you need to understand is this is not a lot of money. However, it is something. And so these media outlets also want to reiterate that this is their conservative number is 1.2%. It will most likely be a little bit higher. Now, on to some other news that's happening today. Steve Mnuchin is testifying before the House Senate subcommittee. Today is the day that he testifies on the COVID-19 crisis. Now, I addressed this yesterday and I addressed this the day before as well. The hearing, this is directly from the Senate, the House Select Subcommittee. It says the hearing will examine the urgent need for additional economic relief for children, workers, and families, and the administration's implementation of key stimulus programs. Now, this couldn't have come at a better time. With Congress currently in a stalemate, with very little movement forward, this could be one of the dominoes that falls that helps create a ripple effect that finally makes a change. Do I think this is going to get Congress back together? They're going to start negotiating tomorrow after this, after Steve Mnuchin testifies? No, I don't. But do I think what he says when he testifies, do I think this will make a difference? I think it's going to make a little bit of difference. It's not going to make a huge difference. It's not going to be the thing that gets everybody back together. However, I do think it is one of those dominoes that does help make a change. So again, we will just have to wait and see there, but I do expect something to happen after today. Now let me address the food shortage. Many people are probably wondering, I didn't know there was a food shortage. There is. But it's not a food shortage in the grocery stores, in retail stores. Yes, there's a slight shortage because some factories get shut down because of COVID-19. However, there's expectations of a food shortage in the food banks. So did you know that across the country, many food banks are starting to stockpile food right now and have been for multiple months? This is happening because many experts are predicting that as unemployment runs out, stimulus money dries up and savings gets depleted, many families won't have the funds needed to afford food. This is a very sad situation. It makes me very sad. Here's what I want you to do, because this is a huge problem and it's only getting worse. Currently, food and nutritional assistance is only being addressed inside of the HEROES Act, and which, as we know as of right now, the HEROES Act is a non-starter by the Senate. So, is there going to be some type of food and nutritional assistance? I believe there will be. Do I believe it's going to be a lot? I don't. I think it's going to be very little. And like Nancy Pelosi and Democrats have stated, it will not really address the needs of the American people. So, here's what I want you to do. If you are currently struggling and you need help feeding yourself and your family, then make your way down to your local food bank and ask for help. That's all you gotta do, is just go and ask. They don't really need you to go and submit documents and do all this stuff. In most cases, you just need to ask and they will be more than happy to give you some food. Now, if you are not struggling, you have money saved up, you have a cabinet full of food, you have a refrigerator stocked full of cold goods, great. But go in and help out a family. Go in and help out a single person. Donate food if you can. Donate money. Donate. If you are well off, donate to help those in need. Because I can tell you right now, if I was in need, I would go to a food bank and I would try to get some food. But now that I'm not in need and I have the ability and the funds, I plan on donating as much as I possibly can. And I want you to do the exact same thing. The last thing I want to address is a missing $480 million. Okay? $480 million. Let that sink in for a minute. What could you buy for $480 million? A lot of stuff. You probably have a list of this, and this, and this. And 10 of each one, right? $480 million is a lot of money. Now, the IRS sent out over $1.6 billion in first round stimulus checks to people that were deceased. According to the IRS, an effort to collect these funds has been initiated, and the IRS has stated they have been able to retrieve 70% of that $1.6 billion. That means $480 million has yet to be retrieved. That's a lot of money. This missing money is a huge issue for me, and here's the reason why. This money could have been used for anything. Could have been used for increased Social Security benefits, more than 1.2%. Could be used for food assistance, right? We just talked about food and a shortage. It could have been used for that. It could be used for rental assistance, because just because someone has an eviction ban or eviction ban moratorium or extension does not mean they are excluded from ever having to pay that back rent. So having $480 million set aside for rental assistance would have done a lot of good, would have helped out many families. Could have also went to schools. Schools are in dire need of funding. They need money. It would $480 million really help out that many schools? It would help them out a little bit, but what would help them out is $105 billion that Congress has yet to pass. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that $480 million could have done. Alright guys, that's all I have for you guys today regarding the second stimulus check and the next stimulus package updates. However, I want to ask you one question. What are your thoughts going forward? What are you thinking? Are you stockpiling food? Are you stockpiling money? Are you investing in stocks, buying real estate? Are you starting an online business or a side hustle? What are you currently doing? What is your thought process moving forward in this pandemic? I'm just curious, because I know what I'm doing. I know how I feel. I just want to know, what are your thoughts on this entire pandemic and how you plan on moving forward. So again, thank you guys for watching today's second stimulus check update and stimulus package news. If you have any questions regarding stimulus, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Do me a favor, like always, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys on the next one.